Hey everyone, it's been a while since we did a product review, so let's do that now.
Upside down.
The nice people from Ugee sent me this U1600 pen display to test it, and that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, here we are at my small desk space, and here is our nice little box of the Ugee U1600 pen display. And let's open this bad boy up. Ooh, shiny. Power cables, adapters. Here we have the pen, and then we have all the cables, and then this is probably how to use it. Let's put the box away. So we have our display here, oh, nicely reflecting everything. So let's take off this shiny material. Okay, so we got rid of the shininess a little bit, now it's nice and blurry. Okay, so we have the screen. Let me open up this one as well. Oh, very lightweight. Then I imagine here we should have some extra nibs, maybe. Smudge guard, nibs. Oh, nice cleaner. I love when they have this as well. And then we have our nib remover. If you wouldn't know, nib removers are there too. Whenever this is too used, you can just simply remove this. HDMI cable. On the back we have two USB-C slots right there, and then the buttons. Let us take another look at the buttons that we have here. First of all, we have the on and off button. Then we have a brightness adjustment, which I actually never use, so but it's there. And then we have the USB-C cable that powers the whole thing, or we have a USB-C that you can directly connect to another computer, so you don't need to plug it into the power source. Sadly, this didn't work for me. I tried it with my laptop with all its USB-C plugins. I don't know if it's my laptop or something is not working in the software, but this one is working perfectly fine. And here is the full setup of what you can expect from the package. Alright, as you can see, I connected it to my laptop, which is right here. And it immediately works as a display. The pen functionality is not there yet because I need to install the drivers. I installed the drivers, so the mouse is already being recognized. Let's start up the Sketchbook app. And look at that. Yeah, this is working mighty fine. Okay, so after testing it on my laptop, I also wanted to properly test on my work machine. And as you can see, I installed it on my computer and I've been working it for around 2 weeks for client work. So I really went intensively through it. So now I feel comfortable on giving more of an opinion about how this little baby performs. Let's talk about the fact that it is hovering here in front of me. This screen comes without a stand, but I just used my old Wacom stand and put it here, which is not a Wacom stand. I just bought a laptop holder because I like to have it at almost eye height so I can draw on it here. And I have my keyboard down here to use for my shortcuts. Which also brings me to another point. As you can see there, it is very sleek. I like the design a lot, but as you can see, there are no express keys. It comes with a sleek, clean, modern design. I do miss my express keys just because if my hand is on the keyboard all the time, I sort of get a little bit of cramps here. So it is not optimal for me, but if I just pay attention to take a break every now and then, it's fine. But you will need a keyboard for shortcuts if that's how you're working, because there are no express keys here, but that's something that you can get used to. Either way, the most important thing is I do recommend that in general you lift it up and work like that. I do not like drawing. I can do it if I work with a sketchbook or if I just work on paper for 1 or 2 hours, but if you want to work full days, I recommend to have some sort of more ergonomic setup for it. Another thing is the stylus, which is quite a bit thinner than the Wacom one. At least this is what I'm used to, and the Wacom styluses are quite thick and it's really nice. And it was bothering me in the beginning, but then I also had to travel before I could continue using it, and I realized it's actually not much thicker than a pen, so it doesn't really matter. And after using it for 2 weeks, I did get used to it quite a bit. So it doesn't bother me at all now, actually. Not that I prefer it, but I'm very fine with its thickness. It's also light, not too light. I would say it's just on the edge of the lightness, but I can work with it quite well. So that's nice as well. So now that we talked about the outside a little bit, let's jump into it. As you guys know me, I'm way more of a line person, so I can't tell you a lot about the colors and how it performs. For me, it does perfectly. I did several colored pieces for clients and for myself as well. So there's nothing I could complain about, and I wouldn't really notice the difference. If you want to do printing, stuff like that, make sure that it's calibrated. I didn't have to worry about that, so it just performed really well. One thing that's also worth mentioning is the size. As you can see, it is quite a bit bigger than my 13-inch Wacom, and it makes a difference. So I think this is the perfect size. I don't like the 22, 24, those giant ones. This is a perfect size for me for drawing. It's A4 size. I don't need a much bigger screen than that, honestly. I worked plenty of years on bigger ones, and I think this is a perfect size. And it's also very light, easy to carry, so good size. Okay, so after rambling about the size and positioning there for a time, let's talk about some of the negatives as well. Something that I have been missing terribly is a pen holder. I don't know about other creatives, but I am sort of a messy person when it comes to keeping my desk tidy. There are always pens and pencils and markers lying all over my desk, and the Ugee pen got lost among them several times. A simple pen holder to put in, or some sort of magnetic solution like the iPad has, would be very welcome to keep the pen safe. Another thing that was a bit bothersome, and this might be just me or my idiocy, but I had issues using the right click on my pen. I mean, right click was working well, but some things seemed broken or buggy. For example, in Photoshop, if you press down on Alt and right click at the same time and move your pen or mouse, that increases or decreases your brush size. With the Ugee pen, that just didn't work. It worked fine with my mouse and my Wacom pen, but for some reason my Ugee pen just didn't play along, and that was a bit bothersome. Another grievance I would have is that I did not figure out how to switch monitors. If you are working on a drawing tablet or display, you usually have a button so you can use your pen on your other monitors if you have a multi-monitor setup. With the lack of express keys, however, I did not figure out how to do that. I had to use the mouse every time I needed to check some reference or look something up. And this is a minor complaint, but it does take you out of the flow. Now, it could be that I'm just blind and I didn't see it in the instructions or pen tablet application. So if you know how to do it, please tell me in the description below, because I would love to know how to do that. And the last issue I had with it is that the sensitivity is not quite as I would like it. Now I'm comparing it directly to my Wacom Cintiq 13 HD because that was the tablet that I used for years now at home, and it might be just that I am used to that or that it is indeed a bit smoother, but I do notice differences in the sensitivity of the two devices. The Ugee asks for a bit more fiddling with the options until you get to the level that works best for you, and still every now and then it might happen that the sensitivity has a weird jump. I noticed some of my most used brushes that with the Wacom I could achieve a slightly softer, thinner line with less pressure than I could with the Ugee. But I could correct that by adjusting the pressure curve in the Ugee pen tablet application, as I mentioned before. And also, the current Wacom Cintiq 16 costs double the Ugee's cost, at least double the Ugee U1600. So for me, it is a no-brainer to go for the Ugee. If you are an artist at the beginning of your career and you want to buy a screen tablet, the Ugee U1600 is definitely worth the price. If you look at what it can deliver, and if you look at the U1200, it's even cheaper. So you can always go cheaper with just a pen tablet instead of a display, but if you want to dip your toes into the display drawing world, I think this is a perfect start. I also must admit that I like the bigger size over my Wacom Cintiq, so I might actually stick with this one, because even for gaming it's just nicer if I have it right there in front of me. So I think for a while I will definitely stay with this one. And with that we have arrived to the end of this little video. Let me reiterate one final time, if you are looking for a pen display on the budget that still delivers great value, this is an absolutely great product and I can really recommend it. If you're interested in taking a closer look at the Ugee U1600 or the U1200, I left a link to the website where you can get more information on these products and where you can also buy them. If you have experience with these products, please leave a comment in the description down below. I'm sure people will appreciate all the info they can get. If this video was useful, feel free to hit that like button or subscribe if you would like to see more drawing related videos. But as always, the most important thing is that you folks have a great time, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.